Is this on already? Okay.
Hi, John.
Do I just need one?
Pour l'anglais, pas pour le français.
Hi, John. Can you hear me? You should be hearing English. Great. And
yes.
Fabio also. And
Bonjour. Hello. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Obviously, it's an exciting day for OL. Beginning of many new things, certainly on the football side. So I'd like to introduce our new manager, head coach, Fabio Grosso. Welcome.
Merci.
Why don't you go ahead and say a couple of words, and I think we're going to try and get to questions relatively quickly. We don't have pre-prepared remarks or a particular message today other than making sure you get your questions answered. So.
Okay. On est prêt pour répondre à votre question.
We're ready to answer your questions.
Bonjour Fabio.
Hello, Fabio, MC Sport. Welcome.
Merci.
Welcome back, in fact. And when you had the call from the chairman, what happened? What did you think in your head when you thought about coming back to France, and especially Lyon? What was the thought process? Well, good morning to you all. As soon as I do apologize for my French, he says, I do understand well. I'll try to make sure you understand me also. I'll speak slowly, but I'll try. So as soon as I got the call, really it was a great thing for me. Immediately, it was my first choice. To begin with, I'd like to thank the people who shared with me the last two and a half years, the people I've worked with, the people that helped me to have this opportunity. So thank you very much for all the people who worked with me at Frosinone. Thanks to the chairman of Frosinone and the director. I share this great opportunity for me with them, because being here for me is really a great thing. I'd like to thank the chairman who called me, who has put his trust in me, and I'm really going to work hard to try to really make sure I earn his trust and confirm it.
Bonjour Fabio, Julien Huet.
Hello, Fabio. I'm from Tonic Radio and Le Parisien aujourd'hui in France. Welcome and welcome back to Lyon. What is your analysis for now about the team, given yesterday's match and the other matches that you've been able to watch? How big a task do you have, do you think, to bring OL back to Europe, which is the objective? I have found an incredible ambience here. This city really left something important with me. I was here 16 years ago, and always in my mind and my heart, I've always kept a gigantic memory of my experience. As time goes by, I changed my job, I'm doing something else. I've been able to come back here now. And it's really something very important for me to come back, to be the head coach of this club. Yesterday, once again, I was able to watch the really great spirit there is within the stadium and around this club, because I've been meeting all the different people in different structures, that they're great, the club is making progress, the ambience there's still a lot of heart for this club, and inside there will be people, us, the players, the people working for the club, we must merit, we must deserve that. We have to do everything on the field to deserve it. We really have to feel that we are giving everything we can for this club, because sometimes if you just talk about it, that's not enough. You have to feel it, and that's the most important thing for me. As soon as I meet the players and meet the people working here, try together to get back to where this club and its ambience and its spirit deserves to be. And it's not the ranking that it has right now. That's not what it deserves.
Bonjour Fabio.
Hello Fabio, very happy to see you back in Lyon. Welcome. Me too. In all your interviews, when you were a player, you always talked about the team, the collective, and never about you yourself. You were a world champion, you won the World Cup, but as a trainer, will you have the same idea? It's the team that counts above all for you in football? Yes, for me it's the most important thing. As soon as you are, if you're playing in a team sport, the most important thing is the team playing together, because sometimes you do good things, sometimes you play good matches, but the most important thing is not just to do good things, it's doing good things together, because that's what makes the difference. And doing this together, as I said before, you have to have the right characteristics to attack and not to take. You have to give and not take. And within this group, everybody has to help increase the level of the club. Get back to a higher level. We can't just click your fingers and move up a level. We know we have to make progress. I have a lot of respect for the previous coach, and I'd like to salute him and Laurent Blanc. He's an institution here in France. I have a lot of respect for him. But if I'm here, it's because something wasn't working, and we're going to work with confidence and with trust. That's very important. Whatever you're doing in life, it's the sport, it's the work. Whatever it is, you have to have confidence, have trust, and really make sure you do better than what you've been doing until now.
Bonjour Fabio,
Razik from Olympique and Lyonnais.com. Happy to see you again. We knew Fabio the player. We don't know Fabio the coach so well. What's your style? What's your philosophy in the game? Do you have a particular gameplay that you really like? Well, I stopped playing quite a few years ago, and I took a gap year, if you like, and then in my belly, inside of me, things that you feel inside, those are the things that are going to make the difference. And I really felt something extraordinary inside. And I started working with young players. Then I went to the older players, the bigger clubs, but always with the same idea, the same philosophy. I know what I want. I know where I want to get to. I really want always to make progress. And when I'm feeling that I'm in a club, I want to be in a club that feels the same way. And that's what I've always tried to look for in my career. Find people who want to make progress and improve. Because there's no age. You can always improve. You can always make progress. So that's how I feel things always. And I have a clear idea for me. I'm going to work so that I can transfer it to the players. The most important thing is to believe in something, of course, but the difficult part and the important part is to convince the players that this thing we believe in is the best thing that we can do. And that's the work that I'm going to do, that I've begun doing already. I'm going to start this afternoon already with the players, because I know them. I saw the match yesterday. We can talk, we can discuss things. 4-3-3, 4-2-3, 4-3-4. We can look at different options. But for me, what's important is to look at the players in their eyes and transfer my determination, my passion for the work we need to do, because moving up a level, improving, we have to be determined and courageous. Those are the most important characteristics. Now, after that, you can also look at the technical side of things, but without the fundamental parts, you can't build.
Bonjour, Vincent Deluc à l'équipe. Une question pour John Textor.
A question for John Textor. From when were you convinced you had to change your coach, and when did Fabio Grosso's name come up? How did that happen?
Well, as far as Fabio Grosso, I've known him as a player, of course, for many years. I think, and I started recognizing him as a coach back in the second division in Italy. I think many of the people that would have coached him when he was a player, those that played with him as a player, I think many of them will tell you they knew he'd be a coach someday. So certainly he was an important candidate in our process from the beginning. As far as the process, I think it's understandable that the reporting of, theories about who our first choices would be or who our favorites would be, I think was somewhat misreported based on the order of the meetings. The fact that I have a home in London made certain meetings convenient early, but from the beginning, I knew that I wanted to talk to a number of candidates and really understand, the appropriate fit for our specific project and opportunity. Some of the meetings I had with coaches, because I'm not a football guy, they were about life and ambition. Other meetings were more technical, and of course I would invite people from our team into those discussions. But please don't think that the order of meetings said anything about priority. It was just really important when you make such a significant change in the manager going forward, and I know this doesn't happen in football, because the term of a manager is so short these days, especially where, I've spent time in Brazil, it's even worse. But you like to think that there's a 5 to 7 year coach out there, or a relationship that can really be a forever kind of relationship. It really doesn't happen, doesn't play out that way, but it was important that we see a number of coaches before we make our final decision. When I met Fabio, it just became obvious very quickly. So that decision was quite easy.
Alors une question pour Fabio de nouveau.
A question for Fabio again. Could we have some information on the composition of your staff, who's coming with you, and which members of the current staff will stay? Well, I have my deputy, Mr. Raffaele. I have 2 physical preparers, Maccarello Francesco and Vittorio Carello, and I also have an analyst, Mauro Caretta. And today we've got a meeting after this press conference to get to know the other people who work for the club, because I know I've seen a lot of faces that I know. There's a lot of continuity in this club, and that's important. There have always been quality people in this club, so we're going to go and find those people. We're going to try to understand who the people are who really want to keep working with us. We're delighted to share this great experience with them. Use the people who've been working here for 20 years. For me, they're really people of high quality and a great resource. Fabio, you talked a lot about trust and confidence. How are you going to work on that as from this afternoon with the players? And what can you use already, what you saw that was good in last night's match? Well, today we got an appointment. Yesterday there was a match. Several players played for a long time. And so we are going to have a chat together. I'll ask them several questions and we'll start working. it's not the day in a day that you are going to learn trust and confidence. It's a journey. It may not be easy, but usually things that aren't easy at the end are the best.
Bonjour, Fabio.
Hello, Fabio. L'équipe, welcome. Fabio, from the beginning of the season, the team hasn't won a match yet. It's pretty much the same team each time that plays. There are certain statuses in the team. With you, will all the players start again from scratch, or will you take account of the status? And can you give us some information about your methodology, how things are going to work in the training during the week? Will there be a lot of rest days? Will there be double training during the day? How will that work? Well, a lot of rest days. If you work a lot and you're tired, you have to rest, of course, because rest is getting your energy back so you can start working again. But I don't like rest too much. In our sport, there are several sports where you really have to train a lot, and I like training. I like training myself. If you want to make progress, you have to work. That's really what I believe is extremely important. It's very important to convince the players that that's the right way. My methodology, well, I have a clear idea on what I'm going to propose. We need to organize our work. I know at the beginning of the week we're going to be working a lot. We're going to try to transfer energy, intensity. Those are very important characteristics, things that I like to see on the field. And then always in my own experience, the important thing is that I trust the quality of the group. Trusting doesn't mean you can all play together. If we work, we need to know that I trust the quality of the group. I trust the players, that they really want to improve. I trust that they want to work. And from that point on, of course, we're going to make choices each time. That's why I came here, to make choices. But getting a player to play or not play, that doesn't mean that you've won or lost your place. That's not the way it works for me. You need to feel that you're inside the way I'm asking them to play. It's about feeling important without thinking that the number of minutes is so important. We're at a time where there were 5 changes. That means 50% of the team playing on the field can change. It's important to know that the ones on the bench, often they can really make the match. If that's what we're doing, you have to make the players feel trusted, that they know that we trust them. And that's work that can't be done in a day. We're going to start by saying it, but to convince them, you have to do it. If you say it and you don't do it, well, then, of course, the players aren't going to believe that it's important for me to trust them. So everybody is in the team. Everybody has to work hard to try and improve what's not working now. That's the most important thing.
Bonjour Fabio, Vincent.
Hello, Fabio, Vincent de L'Équipe. You've had several types of experience as a trainer before Frosinone, and that helped you to learn this job. It worked very well. Things really worked well at Frosinone. Why did it suddenly go so well? Did you find something new? Was it like a summary of everything else that you experienced? How do you explain that? Well, I think that as soon as you start working, then experience helps you learn things. Experience sometimes is positive, but when it's positive, you're so happy that you don't necessarily see what you can improve. Often you say that difficult experiences are the ones where you learn most. And I left Juventus 4 years ago. I went to League 2. It's a difficult, well-balanced championship. You have to really fight. And I had some great experiences. I can tell you things over and over again. Sometimes it worked out well, other times less. But everything in my career, both as a player and since I've been coach, all of that, I've taken it as things that will help me improve, to go forward. What's important for me is the fact that the places I've been, the people who stayed with me, who worked with me, they know how I work. They liked the quality of the work, and for me, that's the most important thing. Even if sometimes the result wasn't there, the result is a mixture of organization, structure, and quality. And then there's a last important point, which is time. So when I've had time to work well, things, since there was success, but I always want to take my time. I don't want to be hurried. Here, I'm going to be working. I'm dreaming of something really big, great in the future. I've just I've just had some amazing past experience. We've talked about future and the past, but right now I'm here in the present, working now to try and improve and to really make sure we deserve the ambience that I experienced yesterday in the stadium, which was magnificent. Hello, Fabio. Fianni Delma, l'équipe. We feel that you're very enthusiastic about beginning this new experience. Do you think that you're taking a risk, taking on a club that's not very well, that's not doing so well? You have a mission that won't be easy. I can answer two questions together, because if I've understood in French, it's hard for me sometimes to express everything I feel. So I apologize if I don't give you a very full answer. But listen, little by little, I'll improve my French and I'll tell you more and more things. Right now, it's not so easy. In English, sometimes I'm using the translation, so I heard the question you asked the chairman. It's not I'm not interested whether I'm the first, second, third, or fourth choice. The most important thing for me is that Lyon was my first choice. And that's really what I feel, and I'm really very, very happy to be here. I like risk, so that's fine. Hello, Fabio. Foot Mercato, your name was going around about Marseille as well. What did you think about that interest, and was it a priority for you to come and work in France? It wasn't a priority to come to France. I'd like to thank the people that I worked with, because we had an amazing journey, and 3 years ago we nearly went back down at Brescia, but we managed to save the club. The second year we did something really important. We made a lot of changes. We almost got to the playoff, and then we were in the third, and we dominated the championship, and we really did something amazing. And then I decided to wait. I was dreaming about something like this, and it's happened now, so I seized the opportunity. But that wasn't the priority. Marseille, there are people who knew how I worked. We talked about it, and then they made another choice, and I said good luck to them. I'm mixing. Sometimes I speak English, so we'll have to mix things up. And then I was just waiting. I waited for something that I choose it when I feel something inside, something positive inside. And I've taken major risks, even last year. Sometimes it worked well, sometimes it didn't. But as soon as I move somewhere, I join somewhere, I come in with my head high, and I leave with my head high, because I like working. I have a lot of passion for this work, and I know that I can transfer something positive by working a lot of hours every day. I can feel serene, relaxed, to know that we've worked a lot and well everywhere, and I'll do the same thing here. Fabio, do you think that the French public will remember that you scored the last penalty against France because you were whistled a little bit then? But apart from that, are you happy to be back in French football? It's true that you're pretty close to French football, even if you really made life difficult for the French team. I'm really very happy to be back in France. It's true. Over time, we knew each other better. We knew each other well. You know that I only say what I feel. As I said earlier, you can see it. It's something that when it's something that you can see it if what you're saying isn't real. I'm really happy to be back in France. I spent a fantastic time here, and inside of myself, I still felt this fact of being close to this country, even if there were a few tricky moments. I know that that's how sport is. You can be whistled, you can be applauded, but at the end, the most important thing for me is the respect for the person, and there's never been a lack of respect. That was the most important thing for me. Fabio, when you were a player, there was Sonny Anderson, who was a member of the staff. He's at the club now. Do you expect to work with him, to get his support, ask him questions, work with him on the future? Can you just repeat the question? So the same question about Sonny Anderson. So he's a consultant for OL Group, and he was recently part of the staff, for the temporary transition staff. Do you want to work with him, ask him questions? Yes, I called him, we've talked, I know him well. That's one of the things we said before. We're going to get to know all the people working here. We're going to try to do the best to make progress with the work in this club.
Fabio,
I know you like young players. You said that you started with young players. The OL has a great academy. Do you intend to work to look for the support of those young people? That's part of what I said earlier. I spent 2 wonderful years here, and I see in this club an amazing future, incredible future. But that's the past and the future. Now it's the present, and I don't look at the date of birth. If somebody is ready to play, then I want them to play. I like young players. I like great players. I like boys who enjoy improving. There's no age for improving. Everyone of any age can improve. So a question for John Texter. Hello, Christian Lyonnais from Le Progrès Lyon. Will OL get started again? We get the impression that this club has kind of been late in terms of preparation in the beginning of the season. Can you guarantee that everything's going to work out now? There's going to be stability. There's been a lot of movement in this team, and the team's a bit late. What's your opinion on that now?
Well, there are no guarantees, of course. You know, I don't know. Is it late? Obviously, the summer transfer window could have gone much more smoothly had we had no restrictions. Obviously, we're a well-capitalized organization. Our ability to spend what we wanted to spend had much to do with the past, not really the present. So our level of preparedness financially, our ambition, everything that we feel today that we're prepared for today, those aren't the rules, you know, of football in France. Financial sustainability is a big issue. The club had challenges over recent years that carry into the future in terms of the measures that are important to the DNCG and how they make sure that clubs are healthy going into the future. So, you know, when you show up and you have ambition and there's opportunity and you're well capitalized, it certainly would have been nice to have a free hand this transfer window. We didn't. So in that sense, it does feel as if you start and you're late because you have to identify players that meet the profile of what the coach was looking for, players that match the ambition of the club to become a Champions League club again, and that you have to fit all of that under a ceiling, a transfer value cap. It was very frustrating. I think we were quite clear on that. So that's why it feels late, because you just don't have a free hand to go out and get everybody you want. In the end, the DNCG was quite flexible. These were painful releases of players that were made to meet the budget promises of the prior administration. I had to live by that, the sale of players. I tried to substitute the sale of assets, the club in Seattle, the partial sale of the basketball arena, which is something that we'll likely complete. So I did try to substitute asset sales and business decisions in place of player sales. We weren't able to do that. That said, honestly, you know, our administration within the football department, I would say they did a remarkable job. I'd say it was a master class. We brought in 9 players under a very tight cap with the DNCG. When you bring in 9 players that arrive, there's one thing they all have in common. They all want to be here. That's a big thing we had in the locker room, the need to make sure everybody wanted to be here. Everybody, they don't see us as their training club. They see us as their Champions League opportunity. And so we have 9 new players that believe that. We have the existing players in the locker room that are still with us that believe that. We have a new coach and coaching staff that believe that. So I can say, while it may have taken us longer than we would have liked to get here, we now have a group of players and staff that all have the same ambition that I do, which is what I know the fans have for us, is to be a Champions League club. We're nobody's training club. We're nobody's training club. We're a Champions League club. So yes, the change with Laurent Blanc, I think we all had great expectations coming out of the successful second half of the campaign last year. There aren't always obvious explanations for why we started with such lethargy in the preseason that carried over into the main season. Certainly, it would have been a better time to make a significant change in leadership in the football department over the summer. Certainly, terrific coaches like Fabio would have enjoyed a preseason to be able to work better with the players. I love that Fabio likes taking risk, because that was an important, a very good question, an important part of who we chose, somebody that said, you know, you have great players, you have a great opportunity, it's early in the season. That was his perspective. I appreciate your question that we were late, but to him, he sees we're 4 games in. It's quite early in a 38-game season. So we are where we are, and it is a long season. I think we're well prepared for it. I think you see the quality that we have on the pitch. You saw it last night. At times, it seems like we're a toothless lion. We haven't been able to score when we should, but we're still a lion. And we know that, and we feel that, and I think that's what you're going to see this year.
Oui, pardon, je voulais poursuivre avec vous, Monsieur Textor.
I just wanted to continue with you, Mr. Textor. You also mentioned the Champions League in your last answer. Can you confirm that that's still Fabio Grosso's objective? Do you confirm that you have the team? Let me explain about the doubts. You've changed your coach. It needs time. The team has known a lot of changes, and even though it's a long season, you've already had 5 days out of 34 in the season. So is the target for OL still the Champions League at the end of the season?
Well, the luxury of ownership is I get to create artificial targets that mean nothing in reality. So, look, everybody at this club believes that not getting to Europe would be a failure. Now, in terms of the work that has to be done, the coach has to have a different perspective. You know, success for the coach is building one step at a time, not predicting out into the future. 34 games is a long season. 33 games is a long season. So, you know, I think we have the right man who's going to show up and do this work step by step. What does progress look like? It's also step by step. It's game by game. And, you know, we'll see how the end of the season plays out. You know, there's an additional spot in Champions League, and I think getting back to Europe generally still should be our goal, should always be the ambition of this club. And it really is just, I guess, 5 games now. A loss to PSG can come at any time of the year. Last year we saw it. A loss to the lower half of the table can come at any time of the year. It's how you respond to that. And we'll see how the team responds. I think they're ready for it, and I think we have the right coach for it.
Monsieur Textor,
a question for Mr. Textor about Fabio. In your discussions, what made the difference? What convinced you that he was the man to take for the job when you carried out your meetings? And he says it was English.
Yeah, perfect English. No, look. Yeah, no, he's very good. He's his English on Zoom calls is superb. I will tell you that. No, I would say when you evaluate a coach, you know, the difference between top division and second division in the major, you know, leagues in this world, you can see great coaching, whether it's Serie A or Serie B. When you see a coach in a second division that has had success, I mean, you might ask yourself, well, you know, can he rise to the moment? And can he coach, and can he feel calm and make good decisions when there's 60,000 people screaming at him? And, you know, that's the luxury of seeing him as a former player, you know. And I mean, you know, this man has sort of risen to the highest level in World Cup and Europe play. And so you get the combination of experiences of the man, whether it's the decisions he made in Serie B or the, you know, the manner in which he performed as a player, that I felt confident that there was no moment that would be too big for him, you know, as a manager. As far as his, you know, I watched probably 7 sort of complete games and a variety of clips and evaluated the data that my football department prepared for me on the coach. And I think in last season, how he was able to adapt his style of play to the players he had, how he was able to adapt to the competition. You know, 6 losses in 38 games in a highly competitive division in Serie B in Italy is remarkable. I think closing out the year with, I think probably 13 points out of 15 to win a league against strong competition by 7 points clear. You know, there's some great coaching that was happening there. It's obvious. He's a modern coach. I think it was a different style of play, you know, on that team that we, you know, might see here. We'll see. You know, it was a lot of low block, counterattack, really exciting football, led the league in goals, led the league in defense. So he had great organization and construction, you know, defensively solid, while at the same time creating opportunities. So he had everything in his past performance that made it very obvious that he knew how to coach. And he has everything in his past as a player that says there's no moment that's too big for him. And I think it was just a luxury that, honestly, I think it was maybe the 3rd or 4th thing we noticed. He was actually a former player of Lyon. He would be a top candidate for coaching anywhere in the world right now. And the fact that he was one of us and speaks our language and coming into the middle of the season, whereas some of the other coaches that we were getting to know and consider might have had a much more difficult time adapting to the locker room and leading the locker room. I mean, I honestly just feel blessed to have found him, and that we got along so well. And I think it's just a really good fit.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Oh. I have a gift for you.
Attendez.
Just here. Yeah.
Merci à tous. On se voit bientôt. Salut.
Tout seul, juste
Ok, avec ça.
De l'autre côté aussi.
Ça sert à rien d'avant, c'est important, pas derrière. Fabio. Super. Merci. Bonjour et bonne journée.